Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the V Gaming Tournament. Thank you so much for joining us. It's DK versus Newbee, the best of 3 grand finals here. Gotta say, it's been a great matchup already. The first game underway in the books. Newbee taking it pretty convincingly at the end there. A couple of misplays from DK early on into the mid-game forced them into an uncomfortable position, and Newbee just took advantage of them and won the game outright through their itemization and, well, just their endgame prowess. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Mott. With me tonight is Baseskip. How you doing, man?
I am doing fantastically. How about you, Mott?
I'm pretty good. It's like 9 in the morning over here, so, you know, just getting started, or I guess ending my day with some nice Chinese Dota. And I gotta say, these two teams have been a pleasure to watch. The Juggernaut's going at it, and arguably the two best Chinese teams. They've been going at it for a couple of weeks now, and I gotta say, every single match has been a treat to watch. The drafts have kind of morphed into these really cool, interesting ideas, and it looks like it's gonna happen again. As DK, they pick up the Faceless Void once more for Ice Ice Ice, more likely than not, and Newbee pick up Shadow Shaman and Death Prophet.
Yeah, I think teams are really cottoning on to the idea that if the Faceless Void is going to be a really primary strategy for various teams, well, then you can just get away with exploiting the fact that with level 1 ultimate, he only has a chrono every 2 minutes. So, looks like that's kind of the plan here for Newbee. And the Shadow Shaman and the Death Prophet as well, the Shadow Shaman minds if he gets chronoed, but so long as he's got the Serpent Wards down, then he doesn't really mind that much. And Death Prophet, if she manages to get her ultimate off and she's just tanked up a little bit, then I think that's going to be great. DK probably, I'd like to see them ban it at Dazzle. Honestly, I just think Exorcism synergy with Weave is really, really good. And then you can sustain pushes through Ancient Apparition with the heal, and you can save people in Chrono with Graves. So, I don't know. I feel like Newbee would be well served to pick up Dazzle if it does manage to make it through into the next round.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Dazzle. I feel like there's been a bit of
10 seconds
everyone's kind of just selling on Dazzle right now. There's not been too much Dazzle play as of recently, which is unfortunate. He promotes exciting play. Graves are always fun to watch, and obviously Weave is really, really good for promoting aggressive play. Shadow Wave is really good for comboing up with different heroes like a Shadow Demon, which we've seen recently as well. But like ever since the qualifiers, and even before that, he's kind of just been not really picked up as much as he used to be. So a lot of that might be because of the Poison Touch change, which some might argue isn't that big, but it's still kind of a big deal in my honest opinion. So I don't know. The fact that he's not been picked up recently is kind of sad for me as a Dazzle fanboy, I should say.
Yeah, he was definitely tier 1 for a while, sort of, you know, very early pick. Not quite being banned in the first round, but yeah, the Poison Touch change and just general trends in the meta, along with other various buffs and nerfs to other supports, have pushed him out of the limelight a little bit. So DK just getting rid of the Tidehunter. I think they have a very good sense of what the plan here is for Newbee, and we'll have to see what they end up doing. The one way that they can alleviate, of course, the problem with the Faceless Void not having as much of an impact with his Chronospheres early on is to fast track him by just putting him in the 1 position, and making sure that he secures his levels. Maybe they can pick up a Midas, something like that. And give them a little bit more in terms of turning the game around from the brink, which is I think already maybe the kind of thing that we're going to be seeing from DK. I mean, they could get off to a really good start and just start controlling the game, and that's where the Death Prophet is not going to be given the opportunity to shine at all. But if Newbee execute in the way that they seem to be angling for right now, DK's win condition is more than likely going to be, again, looking for those pickoffs and choosing that one big fight to turn the game around on if they can. And that'll likely be a tier 3 or maybe even a tier 2 push, depending on how things are going.
And they really just couldn't connect on that in the last game. They really just couldn't connect on the big Chronosphere or the big engagement. They had some glimpses of hope in some of their engagements, but they couldn't really piece it together, and it cost them a couple of fights and obviously the game at the end. And I wouldn't mind seeing a 1-position Faceless Void. I'm not sure if we're going to see it this time around. The Tri-Lane arguably is kind of weak in that scenario, but I don't know if Newbee are really in a position to go Tri versus Tri in that situation. And you do have an Ancient Apparition with Chilling Touch anyway, so maybe it's not even that weak to begin with. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. The off-lane pool is kind of limited now. They've taken out a lot. They've even hampered themselves. They've taken out, obviously, the Nature's Prophet, the Doom, and on top of it all, Ice Ice's favorite Tidehunter, which he's played a lot recently. So, and I'm not surprised they take that out because Xiaowei plays it just as much, and that hero is so damn strong right now. I feel like, and if you get a good Anchor Smash off and they're trying to kill you, you have a Stout Shield, and you got Kraken Shell, he almost feels like he's literally unkillable. So. The fact that he's taken out is no surprise. Again, Enchantress getting banned out. Something important to note is that they did not ban MMY's Mirana, which DK has picked a lot recently for themselves. There's nothing to combo up with it other than a Chronosphere right now. You can't really do anything with an Ancient Apparition, but you can also just grab another hero altogether to make it work and just kind of shoot arrows randomly anyways. So Newbee will grab the Bat Rider for themselves, though. That'll be their offlaner more likely than not for Xiaowei, and good stuff to start the draft off with.
What a world! A third pick
10 seconds
Bat Rider.
Remaining.
This is.
They went to Walmart or Big Lots for that Bat Rider.
5 seconds remaining.
what is going on here, Mott? This is not Bat Rider first pick, first ban Dodo. But
It's not your mother's 6.80 meta. That's for damn sure.
No.
Dire team.
I mean,
okay, so DK take the Nyx Assassin. Nice response, obviously, to the bat, but not really a counter.
He's all right. I definitely feel like we need a little bit more Nyx in our lives every now and then, and I feel like this is one of those times for DK. And I'm interested to see how they'll play it out because, again, they have the Faceless Void, which it signals to me the offlane. Maybe go Nyx Assassin as a support. There's multiple ways you can lane him, but and people are starting to, I think, become more open with the idea of laning Nyx Assassin in different ways instead of just like offlane or support. And people are sending mid from time to time. So I think this is an okay pickup for DK here, but. With Vendetta also, it's kind of important you could get those pickoffs early on once you hit level 6 and really shut down the Death Prophet especially, so not a bad choice. And then Silencer for Newbee. Excellent. Love it.
DK's turn to pick.
Yeah, really nice. You jump in with the bat. Right as you jump in with the bat, you pop the Global Silence. You prevent any kind of counter initiation. You get the free pickoff with the Lasso, and then you take the remainder of the fight 4v5. So I think a really nice pickup here for Newbee. Keeps options open a little bit as well. Could maybe see it run in a core role. Could, of course, just be your secondary support. Though that would leave them... I mean, Silencer can play a passable 5 position and makes, let the Shadow Shaman pick up some farm. But at the same time, he really doesn't mind picking up, say, Treads and a Force Staff and being able to we'll see what ends up happening. The one thing I do really worry about for DK is that if the early game doesn't go... well, right now, at least as their draft stands at the moment, they're very dependent on pickoffs, and they're not going to be able to do a whole lot if Newbee just are ahead and start grouping up in 5-manning, because they don't really have any split push to speak of, so they don't even necessarily have wave clear. Sometimes you can say, okay, look, being able to clear waves quickly, say like a Timbersaw, makes up for not having fantastic tower damage, and you can still classify the hero sort of as a split pusher, but it's just not the case at all for DK here. So if they're behind... I really worry because then that's exactly where the Nyx Assassin is going to be able to do nothing while Newbee are 5-manning. So either I think they need to pick up some more split push, or they need to split push or shore up their early game a little bit more, or shore up their team fight during the mid game. And well, I guess the Venomancer fits on
that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
And I'll agree with you. The Death Ball from Newbee is very solid at this point. It's very strong. If they get the levels and if they start balling out of control, it certainly can become a problem. I'm not the biggest fan of the 5-position or 4-position or whatever support Silencer.
10 seconds
it could work certainly in this scenario, especially if you're trying to zone out an off-lane Faceless Void, Curse of the Silent him. But more and more likely, it looks like it might be a 1-position Void. And actually, I'm not sure. This Venomancer also could potentially be a Mushi Venomancer going mid, which would be very solid. That really helps them against pushing. The counter push could help with the Plague Wards, obviously, and pushing in general. That helps a lot. That gives them that kind of... And also team fight with Poison Nova is very, very solid here as well. Again, against Global, it's not the best. And getting locked down through Shadow Shaman and being squishy against the Death Prophet, not the best, but still... having those Plague Wards is at least very nice to have, and just throwing your poison all over everybody.
Yeah, and even if you win a fight here as Newbee, you're not pushing afterwards. If they get a reasonable Ice Blast and Poison Nova off in the middle of a team fight, you're going back to base. You're going back to heal up if you're not dead. So just in general, that's also a really nice way for DK to delay the game that little bit further. And the Venomancer is also really nice, of course, for just defending pushes, and a hero that we've actually seen quite a bit against Bat Rider. You've got lots of free vision from the wards, and it can also make
Team
it...
pick.
The Venomancer can also make it a little bit difficult for the Batrider to get into the fights just by spamming things here, there, and everywhere. And
Yeah.
DK's
Newbee
turn
throw a
to
little
pick.
bit of a curveball with the final pick as they go for the Spectres. So not really going to be death ball at all from them, and just planning for the late game insurance here.
I like this, though. They can kind of just group up as 4, and then if they get into a sticky situation or if they want to fight, they do have that Haunt available to them. They can just have Spectre farm, and we've seen this like from DK a lot too. Is like, and you talked about it, just kind of farming methodically
10
and just kind of
seconds
pushing and making room all over the map. And I feel like this is one of the ways to do it, albeit a
5
cheap way with
seconds
Spectre and Haunt.
remaining.
But you Haunt, you Global Silence, you use those 2
Templar
abilities, you jump with the lasso, really nice. DK goes for the Templar Assassin, which is yet another interesting choice here. And Ice is going to be picking up the Nyx Assassin, so it looks like it will be that farming Faceless Void like you talked about with Burning, and that's something we haven't seen too often. It happens occasionally, and I love watching it, but we have to wait and see how his farm is early on here. They're probably not going to contest him in terms of a tri-lane versus tri-lane, considering they picked up a Spectre, and they have like a Silencer support, so it's very interesting to see how this game is going to unfold. The Chronospheres are going to mean almost everything yet again here, but this time Burning's going to be neutral. He'll be the director of these team fights for the most part.
Yeah, and even if he hits multiple heroes, the Chronosphere positioning is actually going to be really important. You know, for the Templar Assassin, she's not a full range hero,
10
especially
seconds
early
remaining.
on, and that means that if heroes are stuck deep in the middle of the
5
Chronosphere, either
seconds
Mushi needs to
remaining.
find something on the edge to be able to Sideblade spill, or he's just not going to be able to get any damage done. The Templar Assassin pick is reasonably positioned,
for
I think,
battle.
this game. You do, of course, have to mention the fact that he's going to be up against a Batrider, which is always going to be annoying.
Yeah.
But I think it's reasonable, and it's also a nice way for DK to see the Spectre pick and respond with a little bit more late game as well. Because if they just had another ganking hero or something like that for mid, then I think Newbee would feel very confident just to look for pickoffs with the Batrider and drag it out to the late game, where the Spectre would be not necessarily a guaranteed win, but I think you do have to favor her in out-carrying the Faceless Void.
Yeah, I'd agree. But I do like the way DK drafted this, but they're going to run right into the Silencer. They're going to Time Walk as well, slow him down, and that's a Venomous Gale connecting as well. This is going to be your first blood. Silencer's going to throw off a curse, but he is going to fall, and that's first blood for Lanham. A bit of lag coming out for most of the Perfect World
30
servers, but
seconds to
still,
battle.
they connect, they get the kill, and that's actually huge. A good start coming out. Lanham getting some extra gold there, some experience going their way as well. Just Newbee getting caught out of position. Speaking of Newbee, going over their lineups real quick, and it's going to be tough to follow here. I know they don't use their real names for whatever reason right now. It looks like it's not
We
working.
got it.
Yeah, but Shadow Shaman, well, that's going to be Banana heading down to the bottom lane right now. And it looks like Silencer is going to be played by San Shang. And playing that support Silencer, we'll have Hao up on the Spectre.
The
In mid lane,
battle
it's going to be
begins.
Mu playing that Death Prophet. And to round it all out, it is going to be Zhao Wei, the director, on the Batrider solo safe lane.
Yeah. And meanwhile, over on DK, handling the support Venomancer, we have Lanham. Scouting at the haste rune to start. Over on the Ancient Apparition, we have MMY or Mamaya. Burning is going to be handling the Faceless Void. Mushi heading towards mid on one of his signatures, the Templar Assassin. And finally, we have Ice making his way down bot as the Nyx Assassin. Newbee getting that information out of the first blood. Do suspect that DK are going aggressive, and so they are going to shuffle their lanes to dodge that at least for the time being. But well, MMI and Lanham just going to swing straight towards mid lane and look for the kill on this Death Prophet.
Yeah, Venomous Gale is going to connect, and Moo's in a lot of trouble here. The right click should be enough. The Refraction is going to go. The Ancient Apparition's jumping with the Chilling Touch as well. Lanham getting low. That's a kill, though. He has a haste rune. He's going to be able to run away, and another kill going the way of DK here. Mushi's rather low, but he'll be able to regen up with some tangos. He's got his bottle crowing out to him right now. Down bottom, the aggro try dodge coming through Ice, just making sure that, well, he stays alive. Venomancer denies himself to a neutral camp just to make sure he gets back into the fray a little bit quicker. Burning, maybe having a bit of a rough time in this top lane with the sticky napalm stacking up, but should still be okay. He'll bring the wave back to his tower, and all as well as they grab a 2-0 lead here early on, at about 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah, and the supports are going to be back up top soonish to give him a bit of a hand. This mid lane matchup isn't going to be that amazing for Mushi. He's still going to get CS, but he's going to be doing all of it underneath the tower, unfortunately, and the creep wave's going to be stripping off his refraction a lot. So hard times, but did manage to pick up that kill, so at least a little bit of help going his way there. And they actually rotate the supports down towards bottom lane, so they're going to kind of leave Burning to the Wolves for now, just to get his levels and what little bit of CS he can, and instead opting to try and keep pressure down on this Spectre.
Yeah, I like this choice from them. They can be aggressive. They actually already counter-warded the aggressive ward coming in from the side of Newbee, so they don't have that vision in the jungle anymore. Newbee will have to play a bit back. They are going to clarity up, and Curse of the Silence is going to continue to get tossed out, but they'll have to be careful. 2-minute rune. Somehow Mushi, and you talked about this, I mean, rune control shouldn't be going his way, but the wave is actually in the middle of the river here, and he's able to pick up the Invis rune. Mu can't really contest. He doesn't have his bottle yet. He actually went for a null talisman first, so and we'll see if he goes for that bottle. He grabs it soon. Crypt Swarm is going to connect there. Mushi will continue to regen up. He's got bottle charges. Burning in the top lane has his Poor Man's Shield, so he should be okay for the time being. He's got 9 CS, and actually 5 is going the way of Xiao 8, so not that great for the Bat Rider. Down bottom, this is really where the action is going to be, and I don't know if we'll see any kills, but there should be a lot of harass coming through, just trying to zone them out. Curse of the Silence is going to go yet again. This lag from the Perfect World servers is rough.
Yeah, the one thing we do have to worry about a little bit for Newbee is that this tri-lane being stuck together like this, they've got a Shadow Shaman and a Silencer, both of which are very level-dependent supports. So the longer they keep this up, the more of a problem the mid-game could be, but we'll see. And Burning takes some damage up top lane, but the Firefly's worn out, so
he's got 6 stacks, though. He has to be very careful. He has Time Walk. He might be able to force to use it. In fact, he will. He's going to salve it as well. He's not going to pop his stick charges, but now maybe in a bit too deep with Xiao. He's going to back away now. He threw up one last sticky napalm strike, but it couldn't not connect, so Burning will actually just be scot-free here, essentially. And yeah, honestly, the thing is, you talked about the level dependency of these supports. They don't have this Radiant offlane to work with. They don't have this pole camp here. They can head to the jungle, yes, but again, the DK have done a nice job of making sure that there's no wards around this area. There's no vision for Newbee to be comfortable to go and just take some jungle stacks of their own. So this is really putting some pressure on the Newbee supports and making it so that, at the very least, Spectre's feeling a bit uncomfortable in the lane. He still has 18 last hits. Hao is doing just fine, but DK can try to be aggressive here in the next couple of moments. They do have pulls. The camp was not counter-warded. They actually threw up the Sentry Ward that's still in the Magic Bush. But they're looking for an Impale. The Venomous Gale will connect up on Hao, but the Curse of the Silence is going to go right back out, and Clarity is going to go. So just some more aggression. Nothing really happening, though, in terms of actual kills.
Yeah, Newbee are preparing to swap the lanes around eventually, if necessary. I mean, Xiao 8 has set up a little stack for himself over in the jungle, so preparing to maybe give the lane back to the Spectre a little bit later on. Whether that'll happen just before the Blink Dagger, a long way before the Blink Dagger, or maybe even just after the Blink Dagger is of course going to depend on what kind of moves DK make and whether or not these supports feel pressured to start going anywhere else in the map. But for now, both of the solo lanes are going just fine for Newbee, though. It looks like, yeah, the swap is going to come sooner rather than later. How TP's towards top lane.
Yeah, so this will make it so Xiao can go into the jungle. He's level 5 now. He's got his Tranquils already, and he's going to work towards that Blink Dagger and get it pretty quickly as well. He can get a couple more stacks going his way. Burning's not too concerned now. He will have to deal with the Spectre, and no Desolate damage actually coming out, so it's really just going to be Dispersion and Spectral Dagger that he's got to deal with, so no harm there. Down bottom, they have not rotated the supports just yet. They're actually TPing up the Shadow Shaman right now as we speak. We're 5 minutes in, and actually leading the way in terms of CS is Mushi. He's getting a lot of farm here, and rune control to boot for the most part. Despite going up against Crypt Swarm, he's controlling this lane rather well. He's bottle crowing right now, I believe, which isn't that big of an issue. But top lane, Time Lock and Chronosphere. Burning just hit 6, and he goes to town. The Time Lock, the Chilling Touch procs as well. They grab a quick kill. Spectre absolutely melts. The Ether Shot coming through. My goodness, this animation. I might have to reconnect. This is taking some toll. 6 minutes in, Lana will grab the DD, but a nice little gank there.
Yeah, generally if you just spam reconnect, eventually you'll get a stable connection, but it can take a little while, and loading in can take a bit as well.
I'm going for it. Yeah. I apologize, everyone.
Okay, I'll keep up the radio broadcast.
Radio, go for it.
In the meantime. Yep, so over at mid, we've got Lanham sneaking back behind the tier 1 tower to place a little bit of a ward, but he does get spotted by a Dire Observer. We're just sitting up on the high ground, so that's probably going to get dewarded fairly quickly. Isis has reached level 6 down bottom lane, has his Arcane Boots up, Vendetta at the ready if he wants to try and go for a gank. And Xiaowei, despite not having his Blink Dagger yet, just 800 gold in the bank. He's actually going to smoke towards mid. They're looking for a kill over on Mushi, and looks like you've loaded back in. So
right, I'm in now.
There you go.
The lag is still palatable.
Dyer's bottom tower
I'll deal with it
is
for
under
now.
attack.
That load screen was rough, but here we go. Batrider looking for a jump on Mushi. The lasso is going to fly, will connect, and Shackle's going to come afterwards. Meanwhile, the trap is going to get sprung. Mushi is still in trouble. Big Impale coming out, though. They're trying to stop this. Mushi with a DD pops it. He's still alive, but just barely will fall in the end. With Spectre coming through. Looks like he actually doesn't have Haunt, so that's not how you got the kill. He just rotated over. They used all
walked
five.
in.
Yeah, they just walked pretty much everyone down to that lane. They marched him down and tried to get that kill, and he's a bit rough. So Mushi goes down, and that actually stops him from farming for a couple of seconds here, which is really nice.
Yeah, definitely. Well, worth it, but less so just because they did bring everybody there. And Burning going to jump in. They're looking for Sunshine and absolutely just blows up as Ice rotates in with the Vendetta.
Yeah, that was just a nice pickup there. Burning's still going though on the Spectre. He's
Chrono in 3.
Damage. Yeah, he's ready to go. Meanwhile, the Courier, be careful. They're not going to go for it. The Impale will connect now. Spectre in some trouble. Burning will find yet another kill. He's got a double kill going his way. He's on a killing spree. Burning in this off-lane Faceless Void is starting to get work done with the help of Ice. Just hitting up on level 6 with that Vendetta. Now he hits level 7. He's feeling it right now. 5-2. And we talked about Newbee kind of getting out of control and getting ahead of DK. This is the exact opposite. They're not getting levels up on DK. Ice has already hit up his Vendetta. He's already ganked a couple of times. Mushi's got plenty of farm. The Batrider, I don't believe, has his Blink yet, and he's not even really close. He's 1,000 gold away. It's not too bad, but... And the Death Prophet has yet to put any real pressure on any of these towers. Although, to be fair, Mu is only level 8. You like to... And he actually hasn't even used... he hasn't put up a point in Exorcism yet, which is very interesting. So...
I don't think it's too surprising. I think if he was against, say, a Puck or a hero that's likely to abandon the lane for you to be able to get the tier 1, then you'd likely see the earlier point in Exorcism. But he knows that Mushi's probably just going to be sitting here and farming the same as him for the next few minutes. So he's not really going to get an opportunity to take a swipe at the tier 1. And this means that he's got really nice efficiency for all of the Crypt Swarm spam. So... I think it's a fine build.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, I certainly don't mind it. I mean, I just feel like level 6 Exorcism is so underwhelming anyways, but Time Walk Chronosphere, it's going to be on Hal. They're going to TP in immediately, but Ice, he's looking to try to find an initiation. Meanwhile, they just hex him up, but there's the Vendetta. Nice Shackles coming through. They can't get Spectre yet. Now the Exorcism. DK have bit off a bit more than they can chew. The Ice Blast, though, it sails through. Doesn't connect. I'm pretty sure it did. They will get the kill on one of the Lasso. Doing work there as well. Meanwhile, oh, God. 2-for-1 trade, I believe. Yeah, I'm gonna reconnect again. I think
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
This is just terrible.
Dyer's structures
no problem. So in the meantime, Mushi and Lanham coming in for a little bit of pressure on this tier 1 tower. They get the glyph out. Waiting up at the high ground is Mu and Xiaowei. They're gonna get spotted by a TA trap as they make their way in, but it looks like tier 1 tower not gonna end up taking too much damage. Meanwhile, Ice shepherds away Hao from the top lane, but he's going to be just fine. Just phase boots and a bracer picked up so far on the Spectre, but should still be able to get some pretty good farm. And his team's getting close to being able to make some more space on the map as Xiaowei does pick up another couple hundred gold, 1,700 now for his Blink Daggers. So he's going to be able to start moving soon. The Shadow Shaman is level 5. The Silencer's level 4, but he's coming in mid to grab a couple of levels here and there. And a relatively passive game, at least for the moment. You're
doing a great job with these radio broadcasts, man, I gotta say. I do apologize, but there's not much I can do here. Impale's gonna sail through pieces on how, but... yeah, honestly, right now, it just seems like... At least for the... They actually had a lot of CS going for Spectre down in that bottom lane. When they rotated him up here, Brady just had kind of a field day and got a couple of Chronospheres, and with the help of Ice, they've gotten a couple of kills. So, it just feels like right now... They got 2 kills not too long ago, which was a nice way to get back into it, but Lanham is getting some farm as well. He's sitting on level 4. He's getting some levels, which is important to get that Poison Nova. He's actually tied with the Silencer in terms of levels and outright CS as well. He's kind of close. And Ice Blast will sail top. It's not going to connect on anyone, though, it seems. Looks like it will be just off the mark. So now the farming will continue. 71 CS for Mushi, though. That's pretty great. He's going to go back for a Hand of Midas recipe, and it looks like he'll have that in about a second or two here. And it'll fly out to him momentarily.
Yeah, and that sense that DK are doing a little bit better at the moment is definitely reflected in the graphs, holding on to about a 3k gold lead, a 3k experience lead for the time being, and only going to grow from there, obviously, as they are going for what seems to be a double Midas. Could potentially be a Maelstrom on Burning, but I'm expecting to just see another Midas out of him, and it's a really nice way for DK just to keep the late game, I guess, locked up for the time being.
Yeah, I like that decision a lot, actually. I mean, they're not really in any real danger until... I mean, the Blink Dagger is now the Bat Rider, yes, but as long as they play the smart, they have really great counter initiation. They've got good team fight already, even with the Chronosphere alone. I mean, they could just kind of wait and just try to outfarm the Spectre, who did definitely not have a good, as good of a start as Burning and Mushi did. So they're feeling comfortable, although... If you look at how he's getting closer and closer to his drum, he just needs the recipe now. He's not too far off that.
He's terrified.
Up, but yeah, this is actually a smart position for him considering what's coming his way right now. They might catch him out, but another smoke gank actually for the side of Newbee. They want to try to... They maybe know this is happening. Counter initiation might come. Smoke of Deceit has not yet been popped. The Vendetta's still going, and it looks like Sansheng might be the one to get caught out. The Impale getting dodged, and it will miss, but the Ice Blast does not, and the Mana Burn will secure the kill for the Nyx Assassin. So, a nice kill there. Bat Rider coming into the backside, looking for a lasso.
So you don't want to go that way, MMY?
No, that's not the right way. He's going to get lassoed. The Haunt going through the Aether Shock, and the right click should be enough to bring him down, and it will be. So, MMY falling yet again, just going the wrong way, essentially, getting caught in the bad position. So, support for support. Smoke's actually used on both sides. Bit of a bigger cooldown for Lasso, but in the end, probably about an even trade.
Yeah, I think definitely worth it, especially given that they got the kill went to the Spectre. Yeah. So a little bit of extra farm going to her, and that's really what Newbee are hoping for here. Yes, it's going to be great if the Death Prophet gets some farm, but the Spectre is the game plan. You're not going to be winning this kind of game without the Spectre doing well. So they're just going to have to continue playing around that. And DK is still just looking for more Vendetta ganks. Ice on the hunt. And jumps in on Joe8.
This isn't enough damage here. There are some heroes rotating in. It looks like Mushi's just going to run up, use the Psionic Trap, and just one right click will do the job. However, they will lose their tier 1 tower. They use the Exorcism as well as the Circle Wards. They'll rotate mid, and they actually want to keep fighting here. Well, at least just push off any sort of aggression. Lonum's already putting up his Plague Wards right around this area. Burning has got free roam over this tier 1 tower bottom, and it looks like he'll take it. There's a couple heroes roaming in, but I don't know if that's going to be enough, especially with Exorcism down now. They're going to try to converge here. Impale's going to fly through. It's going to hit up on Sansheng. The Ice Blast as well is going to connect. Sansheng is on the receiving end of a lot of hate here. And for good reason. They really don't want him to get that global silence up. If that starts get thrown out in these team fights or even in small skirmishes, it becomes kind of an issue for DK. So just make sure he doesn't get up to level 6. Avoid that ultimate altogether and go from there. So
DK have just done such a great job of turning that little bit of an advantage that they had early from Newbee choosing to dodge the tri-lane and moving around lanes a little bit into a ton of pickoffs and a much more substantial lead. And bye-bye Spectre, apparently. And also bye-bye Joe8.
Yeah, well, oh no god, 2 heroes dying quickly. I saw it coming in the top jungle, just wasn't there in time to see it. Down bottom, they actually jumped in, used the Chronosphere, grabbed a kill on Spectre, and again, Spectre now down for another couple of seconds here while Birdie continues to farm, using his Midas as well. We'll see what item he wants to go for. We've seen a lot of Agatins recently, but I'm not sure if he wants to go for that item in general. They have enough for it. Mushi actually picks up a Blink Dagger. So you talked about positioning in terms of the Chronosphere, and he has that now. And
yeah,
it's a lot like in the last game as well with the Sniper, where it's also good for just dodging engagements and just making sure you're not caught out of position. And it just seems like a very typical item for Mushi to pick up here. Whereas the Blink Dagger, you don't see it as often as you once would have on a Templar Assassin. It's still very viable here. And I love the pickup coming out from Mushi.
Yeah, you don't often see it, I think, in conjunction with the Midas, but for all the reasons that you mentioned, I think it's a really nice pickup here. And Newbee, they're looking a little bit worried. They're sort of grouping up towards mid lane. Nobody's really securing all that much farm. They should be able to look for another pickoff with this Blink Dagger from Joe8, but DK have gotten the better of them all the way through this, all the way up until now. And again, Newbee just trying to force things as a fairly large group, but that does mean that they are getting decidedly outstripped in farm.
Oh, absolutely. Burning's still down bottom, just farming away. They even have Ice. They think there might be a hero here. But Newbee are not going to make the same mistake. Spectre's not going to get caught out again. He's going to go to the safe lane and just farm. How doesn't want to get essentially blown up by another Chronosphere. So they're playing very close to the chest in terms of their heroes and where they are and where they're positioned. And I feel like when it comes to picks this game, Moo has not done too much on this Death Prophet. They've gotten one tower, which they could have done with Serpent Wars alone. But there's a lasso on Lana. There's a Han as well. He will get his Poison Nova off, and the Ice Blast will not connect on anybody, it looks like. So they will back off. Ice actually smokes up and looks for a potential pick off, but he's not going to find it. Chronosphere is up now. Just connecting. It actually hits up on Hao, who wants it in. Hao is going to fall. Burning actually gets the kill, so that is not worth it at all. In fact, I don't know what Hao is doing there. He looks like he rallied into the wrong illusion, potentially. So, and Ice is going in deep. He really wants this kill on Sansheng, but that is too far. He wanted the Mana Burn or Dagon, but now he is actually going to fall himself. Last word, and he's going to get shackled as well. Ice getting Crypt Swarm, and Batrider will actually grab the kill with his last right click.
Dire structures are fortified.
That was not worth the risk, I have to say.
Burning's going in though. Hex is up. Exorcism is going to fly. They're going to back off, but Mushi's going in hard. There's no lasso, but Burning getting low the Flame Break and the Firefly to get the kill. Mushi on its air though, getting chased down. He's going to meld, and they actually have no detection for him. He's still alive. Nope, they do. They've got a sentry, but he's going to blink. He'll just blink away essentially. And it looks like going to be a 3-4 for nothing. And all of a sudden, what looks to be just kind of an interesting dive, we'll call it, from Ice, turns into suddenly 4 heroes dead for DK. That was
disaster.
Yeah, that was really disastrous.
Dire's top tower.
And I think that DK, I think DK thought that Moo was actually dead because he was ice blasted and he had an urn charge on him, but I think he saved himself with the Yules. So nicely done there, and that was a lot of kills for DK to be giving away and a lot of control over this game. But an Ice Blast comes in top lane. Can they get Hao? They're looking for it. Can he also get the tower last hit? That would be great. No. There's the deny, but the kill also goes the way of Ice.
Well, I mean, at least they, again, shut down the Spectre. This combo has been working out so well. Ice has been all over the place, and then they throw up the Ice Blast shortly thereafter, and they just get a free kill, essentially, on whoever they want. And I wouldn't be surprised if Newbee pick up a gem sometime soon, or even just, like, start throwing sentries all over the map. I want to see how many they have. They have 3 right now in the Shadow Shaman and 2 on the Silencer, so they're already committing a lot just to deal with Ice, and that leaves a lot for... I mean, if you're worrying about Ice, you're worrying about your positioning. You're giving so much room over to DK. Look at where they are right now. Then again, they are smoked up, and they are trying to make some aggression happen bottom and Burning. He has an escape mechanism, level 3 time walk at a Chronosphere, and a TP actually coming through from Ice as well. His Midas is about to be used, and... Alright, let's see if they can get anything done. They're gonna run in. Ice has not yet been spotted, but they throw the Sentry Ward up, and they dust as well. Shop opens up for whatever reason. Ice getting caught out, hexed up as well, and he's gonna get Crypt Swarmed and killed. Squashed, essentially, and Batrider gets a kill, and Shawit is doing rather well this game, despite his team kind of giving away a couple kills. He's got a lasso Burning as well. Unfortunately, Burning getting caught out. Now Silence as well. The Exorcism going to work. That's actually a huge pickup. With the Serpent Wards of the Exorcism, they're looking for a tier 1 tower. They're going to find it. 2 kills at a tower. And Lonham is still working on getting up here to this tier 2. But they're going to rotate up potentially. They have no TP actually on the Death Prophet, which is rather important. Fortification is going to come out for the Radiant team. A bit late, but I'll try to work on this tower now. More TP's back from a lot of these heroes. Lasso's not available. Firefly, blink further, but nothing to come of it.
So, Hao Spectral Daggered and got trapped in the trees. And then he died to Mushi, MMY, and Lanham, just finding him in said trees and right-clicking into death.
Oh, gosh.
So that was a little bit sad for him. I was also about to say, for bottom lane, that better Ice dies than Burning, but then they both died.
Yeah,
so
he just kind of stayed too long.
Go.
He's like, I'm not sure what you're doing there.
He's like, I'm fine. You know, there were only 4 heroes just down here, but I'm gonna hit these creeps, and
I mean,
turned out to be a little bit of.
It's not like he waited for his Midas either. He had just used it too, so there was no reason for him to stay other than to be like, I could chrono this and maybe we could turn this fight around. But then they were just like, we're killing Spectre tops, so no, that's not going to happen. So probably some miscommunication there. If there's one thing to take away from this game right now for DK, it's that they have an overwhelming, just huge crushing blow to Spectre every time they see him in lane. So But they're gonna fight right now. Last is gonna go on Mushi. Silence is gonna come up as well. Meanwhile, the Chronosphere, no, the Silence on Burning, it gets globaled now. Mushi getting pushed back, he's done. Slideshow Dota here on my end. Burning's gonna walk away. 52 seconds for Mushi to be down. Spectre connects and gets the kill essentially on Mushi. So now Burning looking to maybe reinitiate or re-engage. He's gonna try to find, oh, the time lock proc first hit, the Ice Blast coming through. There's the last word, the Serpent Ward Trap not there. They will grab the kill on the Rasta. Now walking away, the mech is gonna come through the Haunt as well. The Flame break back, Burning taking too much damage. He's just gonna stand in place. The Chronosphere, he did get it off, but he will die in the end. Up in the air is Ice from the Eul Scepter now. Spike Carapace, Ice might try to TP out and survive here, but it looks like he will just make it, and Lanham going down to a double kill of Death Prophet, and I'm gonna go ahead and reconnect yet again here. I can't handle this.
So just a really bad spot for DK to be in, and some awkward moments with the Chronosphere. Faceless Void jumps in, immediately gets global silenced. The follow up after that, well, he tries to jump in a second time, but doesn't have enough mana, so he loses. I think he ended up being mana burned again by Curse of the Silence, so even swapping to Int Treads wasn't enough for him to get the Chrono out, and ends up dying right as he uses it. So no value really gained there for DK out of the Chrono, and well, Newbee finding their grip back into this game. Worth pointing out that the Spectre is no longer going for Radiance. How's actually going to be going into a Yasha right now, so just kind of giving up on the idea of ever farming 3.8k gold in one sitting, and I don't mind this, honestly, just because of the amount of pressure that he's been receiving this game, and he can still be very effective just by picking up, say, you know, a Diffusal Blade, Manta, and a Heart, even if he doesn't have the Radiance. So I think a reasonable adjustment for him, and I think he's also just a little bit frustrated with how many ganks he's received. He's got 6 deaths to his name, the highest of anyone in the game by a pretty wide margin.
And the thing is, his team is doing absolutely fantastic, even without him in these engagements, or even with him, so he shouldn't be discouraged. And in fact, they're going to go for Roshan as well, but now it looks like DK want to try to contest and maybe stop this from happening, but Lanham actually might get caught out. The Shackles are going to go, the Haunt's going to go through, and it looks like Lanham is on the receiving end of yet another gank. He will get his Poison Nova off, but he will fall in the end. But now that the Poison Nova is done, the Chronosphere is going to come into the backside. They're actually going to catch 2 there. They're going to grab 1 kill. The second about to fall. Xiao Wei getting right-click down. Burning, grabbing a couple of kills. There's the Exorcism. Mushi grabs 1 on the Shadow Shaman. So what turned out to be Lanham getting picked off was a great initiation for Burning. They're looking for more. The Impale might fly from Ice if he can connect, but he's going to go ahead and back off. His Blink Dagger in his inventory, in his stash right now, are not ready to go. The Side Trap is going to go as well. The Crypt Swarm flying through, coming out for Moo, but he'll back away.
Newbee, just walk away. You've only got 2 heroes alive.
Oh, the Impale miss. Oh, Ice, and the Spike Carapace not even there as well. Big silence on 3, but they will maybe lose a tier 2 tower for this. The Glyph is going to get popped. Now they're just going to back off. Now there's still no Exorcism. It's actually about to go on cooldown. In fact, it is. So we'll see if DK want to continue further here. They could go for Roshan. Mushi has Meld, and I mean they have the damage to do it, but well, Bat Rider's up in 3 seconds. They don't want to chance it. And a Bloodstone now done for the Death Prophet. So actually almost leading the way, but Mushi is just a bit further ahead here at 11,000 net worth. And if we look at the gold graph too, that's something I want to look at. 7,500 gold lead for DK, and experience-wise, it's about 5k as well. So
I thought that was actually a really tense moment where the Death Prophet and the Spectre were both hanging around behind the tier 2. Had either of them been jumped, then that would have snowballed things even further forward for DK. Though I think the Exorcism actually had a slightly longer duration left on it than I expected, and that was part of the reason why Newbee were sticking around. So DK don't get too much more out of those pickoffs. There is a BKB now up on Burning, so a bit more survivability for him. Meanwhile, Mushi also has his BKB, so DK hitting a little bit of a timing here, and I think things are looking all right. I mean, Newbee, they're on the road to recovery, but they haven't quite made it just yet, and as you pointed out, there is still a pretty substantial golden experience lead in favor of DK.
And I think a lot of the issue for DK in those last couple of engagements was the global silence, which was just hitting, essentially. He had gotten 6 not too long before that, and he started getting some globals, some really good ones off as well. And the Exorcism and the Death Prophet silence as well. Not the Exorcism, but just the silence in general has been kind of frustrating. So now with the BKBs up, they maybe have a bit more freedom in these team fights. Yes, you're still going to get lassoed potentially, but and Ward Trap and Exorcism obviously as well. But they do have more room to work with. Meanwhile, there in the river, actually, Xiaowei getting caught out, Mushi getting the kill there. They picked him off with the Impale, it looks like, and now everyone's backing off. The Blink Dagger up for Mushi in 1 second if they want to continue further here. The ward is going to go. They jump in is the question. Yep, Ice, big 2-man Impale, the Mana Bread as well. Mushi, Melt Strike, the Ice Blast gets dodged, but a nice usage of that Eul Scepter. Really pulling in some trouble. The Serpent Horns are going to get dropped, but looks like maybe he's going to fall. They're still chasing after Banana. Meanwhile, Mu getting chased down by Ice. They will not be able to find him. He actually pops the Invis rune, but unfortunately the Shadow Shaman is not so lucky, and Mushi gets yet another kill.
Yeah, and one pretty pivotal thing that we also didn't mention out of that last fight is that Newbee had just picked up a gem, but they immediately lost it on the Batrider. It's not being carried by anyone on DK right now. Lanham actually dropped it back behind the tier 1 tower just to make sure that it was safe for that fight. But yeah, Newbee losing that much more map control on top of everything else is absolutely crushing for them. I mean, they've got a couple of wards up for now, but that's not going to last too long. And now DK are actually going to be able to swoop in and grab the first Roshan for themselves.
It's all looking good right now. DK are getting a couple of pickoffs in. Now it really comes down to the Spectre. Death Prophet's still doing some work here, but it really comes down to... Well, the thing is also, Mu just gets level 3 Exorcism as well, so all of a sudden that's a lot more damage to deal with, so... They will get the Roshan, and Aegis will get picked up by Burning. He's going to try to jump in. He actually fakes his Time Walk. Now he's going to go for it. Chronosphere, it's going to get popped, but it's only onto one. And they're going to zap San Sheng. He gets blown up, actually, and they didn't even use... I think the BKB was not used by Burning. Now the Haunt's going to come in as well. Going to use the mech up for DK. They're going to try to turn and fight this Burning now. He's going to get hexed. Meanwhile, taking damage. Exorcism goes doing work, but the Poison Nova has done already so much for Lanham. Aegis Burning is coming back, and he's the only one dead besides the Nyx Assassin. Meanwhile, up in the air, the Eul Scepter. Mushi gets yet another kill. That'll be on the Spectre. Now they're chasing down Xiaowei. Meanwhile, roly-poly Mu getting right-click down. The Urn Charge doing enough to grab a kill. Mu's backing away, but this might be a 5-man wipe. There's the Time Walk coming through the bash. Melt Strike coming in. The Ghosts get back alive, but not that it matters. Everybody is dead. Burning gets a double kill. And now they'll work on potentially a tier 2 tower. If only the creep wave was here. It's back, just trying to fight its way. Still, though, DK with a huge victory.
I'm disconnecting from the game at the moment, so...
Alright, so you're having the same issue I'm having.
Yeah, I'm having some spikes. Are you spiking right now?
I've been spiking the entire game, so I've almost given up hope at this point that we'll see a lag-free game. Slideshow is strong with this one, but I mean, it's been, I don't know, it's been a really good game thus far. I still feel like there is a potential out here for Newbee, but they don't have a lot left, it seems like. I mean, there's, in fact, Ice is going right on top of the Spectre. If he gets caught out again, that's really problematic. Double damage, the Zap coming in. The Global might be able to save him for a bit, but the Psyblade coming in from Mushi, that was disgusting. They grabbed yet another kill, and Mushi has 6,000 gold in the bank. He could just spend his money out right now if he wanted to, but they are getting chased down by Xiaowei looking for a potential lasso. Mushi has his blink up, but he's going to choose a TP instead. Ice also has his blink. It's on cooldown for his TP, but he can just blink into the trees and wait a bit if he needs to. So they'll get away scot-free, it looks like.
Yeah, I feel like Newbee are going to continue playing on just because they do have the Spectre. They do have some really good late game potential, but things are looking pretty grim for them. I think so long as DK execute cleanly from this point forward. It is still kind of difficult to push up onto the Newbee high ground. It's always going to be tough against the Batrider, but this is starting to feel like it's getting closer to game. I guess the one big thing that this exemplifies is how these matches between DK and Newbee go. As evenly as they are matched, if you give either team a small early game advantage, they both know that they have that advantage and they know exactly what to do with it and how to build that up and turn it into a game win. And that's what Newbee have really been struggling with, I think, this whole game. Just the being forced into dodging the tri-lane, being on the back foot for levels and gold in the early game, and just they haven't ever really been able to reclaim the reins.
It's actually kind of a far cry from the previous game where Newbee felt like they were in a bit of a hole, at least to a certain extent, and then they kind of just got all of their items up and essentially out-carried DK and played just a really solid endgame of Dota. Now it feels like they have that option to be able just to outplay them, but in this scenario it feels like they're either forcing too much, they're getting caught out of position, or DK are making the right plays with their Chronospheres first and foremost. Whereas Ice in the last game, he wasn't hitting those big Chronos. They weren't hitting those big initiations. Now Burning is just going to work, essentially. His Chronospheres have been on point for the most part, but it's been Ice more than anything, picking up kills with his Impales, setting up Ice Blasts, setting up Mushi to jump in and just try to Meld Strike somebody real quick and grab a kill. So it feels like they've just been kind of playing a little bit more solid Dota than in the previous game, which I guess would make sense considering the score.
Yeah, and Ice has just been so ridiculously disruptive in all of these fights. He's jumping in, he's blowing somebody up, he's making the space for Burning to be able to jump in and land those great Chronospheres that you were talking about. And Ice is actually now heading in towards a Yule Scepter as well, so it gives him an instant way to deal with the Batrider if there's ever a jump in. And also a nice way to isolate the silencer to the fights.
Meanwhile, there's going to be the global coming out. They pop the BKBs immediately. They're chasing after Sanche. The last thing on Burning. The Impale doesn't connect. No. The Exorcism, the Ward Trap, not quite there. Burning. Chronospheres jumps away. They will mech him up now. There's the Impale. Sanche blown up. Meanwhile, Yule Scepter now. Meanwhile, Banana getting caught out the Dagon. Not enough for the kill, but the Ice Blast, the Frostbite, he will shatter. Ice taking the brunt of the Exorcism. It's actually a 2-for-2. Supports on both sides falling. No real cores dead just yet, except for Ice on that Nyx Assassin. So, I think a better exchange for Newbee, but they're forced to pop Exorcism. They're forced to pop a lot of their cooldowns, including Haunt as well. In fact, they use every single ultimate. Not that DK don't, but at the very least, they keep Mushi and Burning alive.
Yeah, and it does go to show that they do still need to have a little bit of respect for the Exorcism. It did sort of tear them to shreds in that fight, and DK probably going to take that as motivation to just sit back, grab a little bit more farm. Mushi is getting absolutely terrifying. He's added a Daedalus and a Helm of the Dominator to his arsenals, so yeah, this is getting... He's going to be difficult to deal with. Let's just say that much.
That's putting it mildly. Mushi is very farmed right now. In fact, he's the most farmed by a wide margin at 4,000 in net worth, and with his BKB... They actually popped it a bit earlier. That global came through at the right time, and Burning really couldn't do much about it. So you see he wanted to jump in, and it just really couldn't work out in that scenario. They just got a bit antsy, I feel like, with their initiation. They just kind of walked around the corner like, well, actually, Newbee's here. We better fight now. So
whoops.
Yeah. I agree with you. They kind of have to respect not only the Exorcism, but the lineup of Newbee in general, the lasso, everything that has, everything that comes with it. So DK have to find the right initiation. They're going to smoke up and head to the top lane, and Mushi will push this in, and they'll look for a potential pick-off or any stragglers while they're trying to defend, if they defend. It's the second to last outer tower they have in this game. The other is that bottom tier 2 tower, which has not yet seen a real strong, solid push. The rest of Newbee are backing to mid. They have the Gem of Truth set up and Batrider ready to go, which is really great against Ice. I'm not sure if DK lost that, and they picked it up again.
No, they bought a new one.
Yeah, that seems right.
Lanham still has the stolen gem, I
believe. Is under attack.
Oh, fight might break out.
Dire's structures
missing
are fortified.
fortification. Mushi is just going to get away with this tower potentially? No. Xiaowei wanted that lasso, couldn't find it.
Nice blink away from Mushi.
Yeah.
So, though he did know that the Batrider was coming for him with the ward up on the high ground. So
Dire's top tower has
Another
fallen.
tower falls to the right click of Mushi, and he is sitting at a cool 2.8k. For whatever he would like to buy, whatever his heart desires. And Burning, what does he have? Well, he's sitting on a Chrysalis, enough for a Demon Edge, and in fact, probably has the recipe already in the bank, yeah. He's got his Daedalus now completed as well, so crit, it's pretty much, it's there. MMY also has an Aghanim Scepter, so the items even for the supports are there. Newbee, Blink Dagger is not up for... Banana right now, surprisingly enough, which we see so very often on rosters, but they haven't been able to get even the tier 1 tower mid, so I feel like this push that should be so very solid from Newbee, they can't find an opening for it, even with Exorcism and Serpent Wards. They can't, I mean, just the aggressiveness of DK has been putting them back, so not much they can do there.
Yeah, I just don't even know. I don't think Newbee can stand under the brunt of the right click from the two DK cores, the two big right clicking cores at this point, and oh, they kind of want to defend this tier 2, but they kind of don't, and Ice decides to jump in.
Global's gonna go, Mushi gonna try to right click down, and will Xiaowei, big Chronosphere on a 3 for Burning. They'll catch 1, they'll catch 2, maybe even 3 here. Mu in trouble. There's the side trap, Ice. He's got spiked up, they will use the silence, but roly-poly, Mu He's going to go ahead and just jump into the air, use his Eul Scepters. The Impaler is going to connect, and he will fall. But now the last to survive, Hal looking for a return kill. Might find it. Mushi is running in. They will call GG. And finally, we are forced to a game number 3 as DK out-farm and out-play, out-initiate Newbee in every sense of the word. And man, Spectre received a lot of hate that game, but well played from DK in game number 2.
Yeah, and Newbee just, again, I think so much of it came down to the early game. They had the face check for the first blood. They tried to adapt, realizing that DK did have the potential to go aggressive, and things went pretty badly from there. I almost wonder how things would have gone had they just stood and fought the tri-lane on their safe lane, tried to reestablish control of their pull, and just left the Batrider to 1v1 against the Nyx Assassin. I think that would have been fine, and also, you know, the Silencer has some reasonable tri-lane versus tri-lane power as well, at least for keeping tri-lanes at bay with Curse of the Silence. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe it was a little bit knee-jerk from Newbee as well to just immediately abandon their safe lane and opt to dodge the tri-v-tri, and that could have come back to bite them a little bit. And I don't know if we'll be seeing a plan where they're more all in on the late game in the next match. Also worth pointing out for both of these games that I think last pick has been absolutely crucial in both of these matchups. The last pick, Brewmaster, did a ton of work in game 1, and then this game, the last pick, Templar Assassin, for DK was absolutely instrumental.
Yeah, Mushi looked as comfortable as he's going to look on a hero with that Templar Assassin play. He did really well, got a lot of the kills, just moved forward. He farmed so well in that lane, which was kind of difficult with the rune control and obviously where the wave was in conjunction with him. So, well played from DK. We are going to move on to game number 3. I do want to apologize. Perfect World servers can act up sometimes, and obviously you saw a lot of the lag there. That is nothing on my end. It is nothing on our end. It's just essentially our connection to the Dota servers, and I tried to reconnect a couple of times. Didn't work out, so it happens, but we are going to jump into game number 3. Once again, I am Mott. With me is Basekip. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter. Check Basekip out, twitter.com/Basekip. You can follow me at twitter.com/Mott2. We'll take a quick break and jump into game number 3. And yet another tournament with these two teams facing off. Stick around, guys.